Hello and welcome to reading chapter 10 video tutorial on critical reading. So this brings us to the last and final chapter for your 10 steps to advancing college reading skills textbook. And so chapter 10 is a summarization of everything from chapter 1 through 9. So critical reading is where it requires you, the reader, to evaluate and look at the main ideas, supporting details, everything to decipher through and trying to recognize what's the main idea and what is the good support and what is valid support versus invalid or inconsequential. So a couple of things when reading critically. You and just any critical reader has to be able to separate fact from opinion, detect propaganda, and recognize errors in reasoning. So you have to be able to do all types of those things. And again, is asking yourself as a reader questions. And we're going to go through some various skills and process of thinking throughout this presentation. I will go over this relatively quickly. These slides are relatively long, so you again have access to this through your Canvas under modules for chapter 10. As well as your textbook that will provide you with more information and details. So, fact versus opinion. So, fact. Again, this goes back to supporting details. This goes back to argument details. Facts are supporting details that you can prove. They're grounded in reality, and you can check their accuracy. Opinions are merely just that, opinions. They are not grounded in reality. They are just that with which is stated, but there is no effort and nothing to back it up, no information. So that's the difference between fact and opinion. So looking on here, we have here a personal ad, and it is filled with both fact and opinion. So on here it says Foxy Lady. It says blue hair beauty, 80s, slim, 5'4", used to be 5'6", widow who has just buried fourth husband, has original teeth and new parts, including hip, knee, cornea, and valves. A groovy chick who is still the life of the party. So we have some statements here that are facts, and you will have some that are opinion. And this is merely just, again, a exercise. It's a mix of both fact and opinion. You will see these when it comes up to anything you read in articles or textbooks. So on here, some facts that we can take from this ad. 80s, slim, 5'4". We can prove that by looking at her and prove that she's 80 years old. The fact that she is a widow and buried her fourth husband, we can cross-check that. The fact that she's blue-haired, okay, yes, but where an opinion is a groovy chick, okay, those are opinions because what someone may think is groovy, someone else may not. So it's all subjective, groovy. Also, beauty or foxy lady, foxy. So those types of things are opinions, and you'll see this come up when it's highlighted. So there you go. So again, remember, facts we can back it up by either looking at it or researching and proving. Opinions is just in a statement that may only pertain to what one person believes versus another. So again, that is what fact. And you'll just see some examples here that you can look at on your own time. All right. Again, facts can be proven. So 5 points about facts. So statements of facts may be found to be untrue. So, and they just show this on here. They give you some examples. Okay. Now we look at value words. These value words indicate an opinion. They often will indicate an opinion because what somebody may deem as the best or the worst or something that is good may not. Think about food. Uh, One person may say this is the best restaurant or best food I've ever tasted versus someone else who may not have that same opinion. Again, that is why it's an opinion and not a fact. Fact can be blanketed and applied to all. It can be proven versus an opinion. So these are just some words that often will indicate an opinion. Same here, should and ought. They will signal an opinion as well. And again, it goes back to when we were talking about main idea and supporting details. What should be or ought to be, those indicate, yes, opinions. There are going to be arguments, and people have to back it up with facts, but it's merely an opinion. Because what one person should do, another person may not believe in that and may feel that they should not. So, again, we just have to be very careful when reading because sometimes some information may sound factual, but it is not. So, looking at the example here, the truth of the matter is that olive oil tastes much better than butter. Well, the fact that it says truth of the matter may indicate, oh, okay, it's going to be a fact, but it is not because of much better. So, what one person may believe, another may not. And so, again, what we did in the previous exercise, there is going to be a mix of both fact and opinion in a statement. So you have to decipher what is going to be the fact and what is the opinion in that statement. So right here, which statement below is fact and which one is an opinion? So A says no flower is more beautiful than a simple daisy. B, in Egypt, 96% of the land is desert. So an opinion is something that is just a statement but may not prove to all. A fact we can prove and look in a book. While B, that is a fact because in Egypt, 96% of the land is desert. We can prove that by photos. We can prove that by a textbook and researching. We can prove that. Now, the opinion is A because it says no flower is more beautiful than a simple daisy. Well, this person likes daisies, but another person may like roses or chrysanthemums. So again, that is why it's an opinion. Okay. Now, on here, again, it goes back to fact, opinion, and then both fact and opinion. So if you look at A, B, and C here, it says A is it is riskier for a woman to have a first child after age 40 than before. B, it is stupid for women over 40 to get pregnant. And C, it is sometimes risky and always foolish for a woman to have a first child after age 40. Now, the opinion stands out greatly. It is stupid for women over 40 to get pregnant. The word stupid right there, that's just clearly an opinion. There is no factual statement that would start there like that, where it's stupid. Because again, what some person may deem as stupid, another person may not. Now, the others, one is going to be a fact, and one is going to be an opinion and fact statement. So, one that is purely fact is, yes, A. It is riskier for a woman to have a first child after age 40 than before, and we can prove that by science articles and journals and so on. Now, C has both a mix of fact and opinion. So, yes, it is risky, as it's stated in A, but foolish for a woman to have. That's an opinion. So, it's a mix of both. So, propaganda. Some of you may have wondered what propaganda is. And that's basically when you use emotional appeals or emotional words to present evidence, to try to provocate an emotion. So, looking on here, you will find a lot of propagandas when it comes to elections and political systems and advertisements and so on. So, advertisers, salespeople, and politicians lack adequate factual support. And so that what they do is they appeal to our emotions. And we're going to go over some of those propaganda techniques. So here is a list. So we'll start with the first one, bandwagon. And that is where the bandwagon, it tells us to buy a product because everybody else is doing it. It's bandwagon, like jump on the bandwagon because everybody else is. Everybody likes this football team or basketball team or baseball team, so you should like it too, and so on. So here are some examples for that. So that is bandwagon, and you can look at that in your book. You can look at some of these examples as well. Okay, so that's bandwagon, or jump on the bandwagon because everybody else is. Okay, and so you can see here they ask you which ad uses the bandwagon, and you can go over that as well. I want to be sensitive to your time when it comes to these notes. So if we go here now, testimonial, and you think of the word testimony, and you hear that in court or as a witness, and basically testimonials where they use celebrities, famous people to influence viewers, and you'll see that in YouTube as well. You have influencers that are being paid to give an opinion or review a certain product. And so again, this is testimonial. This is when they try to convince you to buy the product because so and so is the one that is telling you so. So that's why they try to convince the audience via a testimonial from a celebrity. So that is what a testimonial is. Now, transfer. Again, it's by association. Transfer is a technique where products or candidates try to associate themselves with something that people admire or love. Okay. So it's similar to the Axe cologne commercials. You see the man, he sprays it on himself, and all the women come flocking to him because he sprays this cologne. Therefore, the women will be attracted to him. You use this product, and then all these people will love you and adore you because you either are using a product for your hair or you're eating this particular food or drinking this particular drink and refreshment. Again, that's what transfer is. There is no factual proof in this. Again, it's just, again, do this and all these people will love you or these different things will happen to you. Now, plain folks technique. This is usually used with political candidates and presidents. Think of it as plain folks technique is I'm one of you. So like one of you, vote for me because I'm no better than you. I am just one of you. I'm right there with you. I'm sitting and I'm just average Joe, just like everyone else. That is the plain folks technique, appealing to mass audience as just plain and simple. That is a plain folks technique, and you can see the examples here. And when you're going through your notes, you can actually go through that. Okay. Then we have name calling. This right here, just like it says, name calling. So it's arousing an emotion within a person by calling them a name or trying to provoke them using a negative comment about a person or a product. Like, don't drink this disgusting drink, or only losers would try to eat this. So again, this is what name calling is. It's using that type of negative name calling or about a product or a candidate or anything like that. So that's name calling. A glittering generality. Now this right here, some of you could be a little confused about glittering generality. What this is basically, it sounds important, but it's just making a blanketed statement. It's not really, it could be just like it says here. A magazine ad for a line of women's clothing advertises, let yourself shine. So, okay. It's just there. It's just a statement. It doesn't really have anything that sticks out or anything like that. It's just a statement that could be a little ambiguous or a little weird. Again, it's not arriving at pros or cons. It's not negative or positive. It's just a statement. That's basically what it is generality. So, like, enjoy life, participate. That's it. That would be a glittering generality. So, and again, your book and which will find your Canvas assignments, they will give you more practice with that. Now, a fallacy is an error in reasoning. So when people try to support an opinion and try to make it a factual, there is going to be some errors in reasoning. So a valid point, it's support not only relevant to the argument, but it can be proven. Now, a fallacious point is that there's no real support. It's basically, as you see the image here, a house of cards. You poke one hole, everything's going to fall. That type of fallacious point. So, again, when we talked about an argument, so some common fallacies are changing the subject. So they distract us from the issue by presenting irrelevant support. So it goes off into what we call a tangent. So it basically derives from going off into something else. And in a hasty generalization, which we talked about, it's a fallacy, but it has inadequate support. There's not enough information or support for this argument. So, 3 fallacies that ignore the issue. It's called circular reasoning, personal attack, straw man. And 3 fallacies that oversimplify the issue. So it's like a generality. False cause, false comparison, either or. And we're going to talk about all of those real quickly. So circular reasoning is basically just repeating the question or being redundant. So you'll see the example here. Ms. Jenkins is a great manager because she is so wonderful at managing. So you see there it's been repeated. They're not giving us support as to how she's a great manager. They're just saying she's a great manager because she is good at managing. So that's why it's circular reasoning. Now, personal attack is when the advertisement or the opinion attacks the person or the store, product, something personally, and it has nothing to do with the product itself. Okay, it's like attacking someone, attacking their family or attacking anything during their job, saying that type of thing. So if you're trying to fire someone or make an opinion about someone at work, why would they attack their family? Just to make it personal. That's why. So an example here is our mayor's opinions about local crime are worthless. Last week, his own son was arrested for disturbing the peace. So, again, they're attacking the mayor, who's talking about local crime being worthless. So he's talking about it as a whole, but then they want to attack him because his son was arrested for disturbing the peace. So one doesn't have to do with the other. His job does not have to do with his son being arrested. But again, that's the personal attack. Straw man is where you falsely claims that an opponent holds an extreme position and then opposes that position. So it's basically they say it and then they contradict themselves. So they say something and then contradict it. So an example, the candidate for mayor says she'll cut taxes, but do you really want fewer police officers protecting your city? So it's almost like reverse psychology, where they'll make that statement and then contradict it, so it counters it. So then there's holes in this type of reasoning. So again, that's straw man. False cause. So this is oversimplifying the issue. So it's assuming that because A came before event B, then A caused event B. So it's by association. And it has something to do more with like false causes that this was caused by this, and it could be coincidental. It could be, again, urban legends and superstitions. They deal with false cause. So, example, the baseball team was doing well before Paul Hamilton became manager. Clearly, he is the cause of the decline. Now, that right there, they're saying that the team was doing well before he came on, so he clearly must be the reason why. And then again, it's not proven. It's just, again, coincidental. And then they have more examples in your textbook and in these notes. So false comparison now. So it's drawing an assumption that two things are alike when they really aren't, or they may not be as much as they assume. So example here, when your grandmother was your age, she was already married and had 4 children. So why aren't you married? So this is a false comparison, comparing the grandmother to, again, maybe her granddaughter or someone, and saying that at the same age, hey, she was already married and had 4 children. How come you're not? And again, not taking into account it's a different time, and the person may have a different opinion or may have a different goals in life, and so on. And that is why. So that is a false comparison. It's falsely comparing two things that shouldn't be. So next one, either or. And this is basically where it's oversimplifying. It's either black or white. Okay, there's only A or B. There is no in between. That is it. So, example here, people who support gun control want to take away our rights. So it's assuming that all of them. It's a blanketed statement, and there is so many fallacies to that kind of thinking. And that's why it's either or. Okay. So that brings us in to chapter 10, reading, critical reading, and brings us an end to your textbook. So again, make sure to complete your Canvas assignments and to make sure to look over your textbook as well. And if you have any questions or concerns, please let me know. You may email me and notify me. Otherwise, good luck in completing your tasks. Thank you.